moving on. I think we've got Medovate next. Chris and Rob, over to you.
Thanks, Mo.
Thanks, Mo. Chris, shall I open up the first couple of slides and then lead on to you?
Yeah, I think that probably makes sense. Just to kind of those people that don't know Rob and I. So I'm responsible for global sales and marketing at Medovate. Rob is the business manager. We're going to talk to you a little bit about the organisation, where we've come from, our innovations that are currently in market, our plans in terms of other products that are going to come downstream. We'll touch on a couple of slides in terms of the potential benefits as we continue our conversations with UCLPartners around potential opportunities to collaborate.
Perfect, yeah. Okay, then, so is it possible to have the first slide? Thank you very much. So just as a way of introduction, so Medovate was established back end of 2017, became fully operational beginning of 2018. We are a medical device company. We are relatively unique in the fact that our approach is to partner with the NHS at a relatively early stage, and we look to source, develop, incubate, and take to market novel technology arising from mostly within the NHS. We have 3 shareholders currently, so we have two of those shareholders are the investors. One of them is Mercia Asset Management. They're a London Stock Exchange listed asset management firm. We also have an individual of high net wealth who's matched that investment as well. Our third shareholder is the NHS through an organisation called Health Enterprise East. They are the technology transfer organisation that manages the intellectual property on behalf of the NHS, predominantly within the east of England, but they do have members outside, all the way up into the Midlands and all the way down into Cornwall and Devon. Next slide, please. So as a way of background, I was working for Health Enterprise East probably from around about 2004 through to 2017 in the technology transfer operations side of the business. During that time, both myself and my colleague Stuart Thompson, who's the managing director now at Medovate, we completed 125 licenses for medical technology, so out-licensing technology from the NHS into industry, and we also completed 5 spin-outs, one of which was acquired by Allergan back of 2015. Through this experience, we saw that the greatest value for the NHS is really coming from taking technologies all the way through to a greater value inflection point, being where you've actually got data, real world data for sales, and potentially regulatory approval in multiple territories. So we looked at different business models about how we could achieve greater value inflection for the NHS, and then what we came across, finished on, was the Medovate business model. So essentially, we are a medical device company which in-licenses technology from the NHS partners. We have the capabilities in-house to take it all the way through the development cycle and all the way through out into the marketplace as well. So Chris manages the sales and marketing team and a series of distributors globally now for our first medical device that we've taken through to market. Our partners are taken through the entire journey with us, so we work very closely with the clinical inventors throughout the development cycle. And then afterwards, as we work on a licensing basis, once the product does get to market, there are royalties that are realised for the NHS and also for the inventors. We look to engage with worldwide distribution networks as well to get a larger foothold into the marketplace. And our eventual aim is potentially to see an exit of individual discrete portions of the technology portfolio through to larger medtech organisations, and the NHS partners can also be part of that exit opportunity as well. So there's a great benefit for all partners throughout this journey with us. Next slide, please. As mentioned, we work very closely with Health Enterprise East, the technology transfer organisation for the East of England. They have approximately 20 trusts they're managing IP for. We're not bound by this relationship, so though we have a first look relationship with Health Enterprise East for the IP that they have in their portfolio, we are also working with trusts throughout the UK, and we have actually licensed some technology from a trust external to the Health Enterprise East group. So we're looking to, as we've now proven this business model is working, and we've got our first products coming through to fruition now. We're looking to probably expand that relationship into something a bit more substantial, and we're starting those discussions with other trusts throughout the UK. Next slide, please. As mentioned, we have a portfolio, particularly in the areas of anaesthesia, surgical and critical care. We're not bound by these, but these were the first target areas that we identified when we were establishing our organisation. In particular, we have the first technology we're taking through is a device called Safira, that Chris is going to talk about in a minute. This is a platform technology. It's a device for the delivery of regional anaesthesia in a more controlled and safer mechanism that allows it to be a one-person procedure. Within that technology has been licensed exclusively from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, King's Lynn. And we've been working with the inventors and the trust there throughout the development process, but also through the clinical evaluation process thereafter. In the surgical division, we currently have one product, but we're evaluating several other products to bring into that area. So we're working with Cambridge University Hospitals on our first device, and that's a device for endoluminal vacuum therapy called Medovate. We're partnering with them on a NIHR I4I award. So that's a 3-year development program, and we're adding additional technology to that program, and we're providing that stepping stone afterwards to the commercial pathway and the route to market. And we also have a critical care division where we have several products in the consumables area, really. So we're looking at improvements to HMEF technology and also to the arterial blood gas sampling kits. Those technologies have been licensed again exclusively from Queen Elizabeth Hospital, King's Lynn, but also from several individual clinical inventors who had access to their own IP. I think next slide, please. Chris, would you like to lead into the Safira technology?
Yeah, thank you, Rob. As Rob mentioned, our first technology that's currently available around the world is SAFIRA, safer injection for regional anaesthesia. It's a device that pretty much turns a current 2-person procedure, which needs the anaesthetist and the ODP, into one that's delivered single-handedly by the anaesthetist. Now, there is significant data out there that pretty much demonstrates that if you inject above 20 psi, you increase the risk of both significant and peripheral nerve damage. Significant is in around about 1% of cases. We appreciate that's quite small. Peripheral is between 8 and 10%. But we know there are over 20 million blocks carried out across the EU and US each year. That's growing at around about 5% CAGR. On the back of COVID, we're finding that there is a significant increased use of regional anaesthesia now. Benefits in terms of you're removing the risk of aerialization of virus, you don't need to intubate a patient. So we expect that to continue to provide significant growth opportunities as we go through the next couple of years. Can we jump to the next slide, please? So Safira is quite a unique device. It comprises of a driver system, which is the branded Safira driver system you can see in your screen in front, with a lure or an NR-fit syringe, and it comes with multiple operating systems. The one on the screen here is the palm operator. We have a foot operator and integrated needle solution downstream. We're FDA approved. We're launched in the US. We have CE approval, and we're also selling currently in Australia, New Zealand, Israel, and about to launch in the Middle East. So this product is starting to find its space now as a significant benefit to improve safety for regional anaesthesia, both in terms of the patient and also cost optimization and improvements for the hospital. During 2021, we'll continue to drive product across other parts of the world. We've just launched the product in the veterinary space, and we have a number of co-promotion agreements with other manufacturers such as Konica Minolta, which allows us then to really support their increased footprint to drive sales of this product. So it is a really innovative device that's starting to get significant traction around the world. The clinician response has been overtly favourable. We've been evaluating this in the UK, initially with our inventor team at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, King's Lynn, but we're now working very closely with a number of leading anaesthetists. We have Dr. Amit Pawar at Barts, Mornay Woolmerans, we have Peter Majervi over in Northern Ireland, and a number of anaesthetists from the Royal Orthopaedic Hospital in the UK, including clinicians from across Europe that are also experiencing significant benefits from this device. So as we continue to take this platform technology forward, we will be looking at bringing other products from our portfolio into play. And as Rob mentioned, we will either use a distributor model or alternatively, we'll look to in-license or potentially sell some of those developed technologies to major medtech companies. Can we go to the next slide, please? So our global coverage, as you can see, is around the world, which is fantastic. And I think the really good piece of feedback to share with you is that whenever we have either started conversations with clinicians or alternatively with distributor partners, the fact that our technology is developed and invented by clinicians working in the NHS, and they are also involved in the whole process around product development through to the commercialization phase, is providing us with significant advantages. I think it adds a significant layer of trust to the products that we are bringing to market. Can we go to the next slide, please? In terms of the benefits to UCLP member hospitals, as I mentioned, we are talking to Susie and Mo around the potential opportunity to work closely with them as an organisation. We have a small but very experienced team, skilled in all aspects of medical device development. That's both from a QA and RA perspective, right the way through to the commercialisation end. As Rob touched on briefly, there are financial returns, both in terms of the member trusts and also the inventors in the way that we structure our agreements. And we have the experience to successfully take your products to market around the world. It's also a really nice sounding board for potential new ideas and collaboration. And as we have that experience of working with multiple stakeholders, we're looking for innovative solutions, those that are either going to improve the treatment paradigm or significantly improve patient care. So we're not really looking for non-clinically differentiated commoditized products. We're really looking for those products that add value to patients. I think the last slide is the holding slide overview. There we go. So that's a very quick walkthrough of what we're doing at Medovate. And again, happy to answer any questions, and I'm sure as our ongoing conversations with Mo and Susie and UCLP, you'll hear more about what we do as an organisation as we go forward. But thank you.
Thank you very much for this talk, guys. It's a very unique business model. Please socialise this across our network, and if anybody has questions, please pop them in the chat. Thank you.